Very good morning to all. Today, before going to our concept, we will discuss something interesting. Okay, imagine that we are all are sitting in our classroom. You are sitting in your real classroom, and I am going to take the physics class. So that is a situation. But initially, I am having a cricket ball in my hand and I want to pass the cricket ball to the student who is sitting in the last bench. Okay, so I want to transfer this ball to the student who is sitting in the last bench. There is a condition that I should not make any movement myself, but I want to transfer the ball. So what are the possibilities here? What are the different ways I have left uh, for transferring or for passing this ball to the student? Okay, now let the student be A. So I want to pass the ball to A. One method is I can give the ball to the student who is sitting near to me so that he will transfer the ball or he will pass the ball to the next student and the next student will pass the next and the process will continue and finally the ball will reach to the last the student who is sitting in the last bench. So this is one of the method I can transfer or I can pass the ball to the particular student. And the other way is I can call him individually so that he will come and I can give him the ball directly. So that is the second method. I can give the ball to him directly. And there is one more method. Obviously, I can throw the ball to him so that he will catch the ball and he will be having the ball with him. So there are three different methods I can transfer the ball to him. Similarly, in our concept, this situation is very deeply alike. So now we are moving towards our concept and I will tell you how our situation is related with our concept. Now, we are looking at the heading transfer of heat or transmission of heat. So, we are defining the transfer of heat first. So, I am reading the definition of transfer of heat. The phenomenon of transfer of heat from hotter body to colder body is called transfer of heat. What is transfer of heat? The phenomenon of transfer of heat from hotter body to colder body is called transfer of heat. And if heat can be transferred from hotter body to colder body or body having higher temperature to body having lower temperature, so the heat always transfers from hotter body to colder body or the other way is higher temperature to lower temperature. So that is a transfer of heat. If this is the transfer of heat, then what are the different methods of transferring the heat from hotter to colder? So these methods of transfer of heat is called as modes of transfer of heat. So modes of transfer of heat meaning methods of transfer of heat. So there are three methods of transfer of heat. One is conduction, another one is convection and other one is radiation. So what are the three methods? Conduction, convection and radiation. Where conduction takes place in the case of solid and convection takes place in the case of liquids and gases and radiation takes place for radiation medium is not required. For example, the heat from sun reaches to earth on passing through the vacuum. So the heat energy does not need the medium to transfer. So if the medium is not required, the heat energy is transferred from sun to earth, but medium is not required. If medium is not required, on transferring the heat. Such a transfer of heat is called radiation. So the best example is reaching heat energy from sun to earth through radiation. So I hope you understood the radiation. Now we are talking about the first case, conduction. So I am again reading conduction. The process of heat transfer from one part to other by the vibration of the particles. For example, in the case we said each student can transfer the ball to the next, so that the boy who is sitting in the last bench will get the ball. The same way, in solids the particles are closely arranged, meaning the particles, meaning here it can be atom or it can be molecule. So these are the particles. So the particles are closely arranged. So when heat is given, what the particle do is the particle began to vibrate. The particles began to vibrate, and due to this vibration, the heat energy will be flowed from hotter part to colder part, or from hotter body to colder body. So here, even though it is vibrating, it will vibrate from its mean position. It will vibrate from its main position. For example, if you are considering a swing, it will oscillate from a fixed point in the either direction. The same way, the particles also will vibrate, but there is no displacement for the particle. The particle is though the particle is vibrating, the particle is not displaced from one point to another point. So there is no actual movement for the in this case. For example, if you are transferring the ball to the next student, you are not moving your place from one point to another. Just like that, the particles began to vibrate, so the heat energy will be transferred, but particles are not moved. There is no actual movement in the particles, but heat energy is transferred. So that is the conduction. Conduction takes place in the solid. So solid can be broadly classified into two: good conductors of heat energy and bad conductors of heat. Bad conductors of heat and good conductors of heat. Metals are always good conductors of heat, whereas bad conductor of heat or insulators, we can also say insulators. Plastic, wood, paper, these are insulators or bad conductors. So here one more point I have written that I already explained. In conduction, the actual movement of particle does not take place. In conduction, the actual movement of particle does not take place. Just like if you are passing the ball from one student to the next student, there is no need of actual movement between you. You can just transfer with your hand, just like that. The particles will transfer the heat without the actual movement. In convection is similar to, if I am calling the student who is sitting in the last bench, he has to come to me and he has to get the ball. So there is a actual movement that he has done. He has done an actual movement to get the ball. Same like in convection, the particle moves from one point to another in order to transfer the heat. In order to transfer the heat, the particles will move from one point to another. So heat transfer takes place with the actual movement of particles. The heat transfer will takes place with the actual movement of particles. For example, liquids and gases. If you are boiling the water, you can observe that while the water is boiling, there will be a entire movement in the water. You can see some pores is coming out also. So there is actual movement in the case of convection, whereas in in radiation the medium is not at all required. Okay, so radiation, the process of heat transfer without intervening meaning interfering, without the interference of medium meaning in this the for example, you can consider the classroom as medium and you are the particles. Okay, so while throwing, I does not need you. Oh, sorry, I do not need you if I am throwing the ball. Okay, just like that, if radiation is taking place, the medium is not required. For example, the heat transfers from sun to earth, where the heat energy does not require any kind of medium, but it has transferred the heat. So such a transfer of heat is called radiation. So the heat from sun reaches the earth through the radiation process. So this is the class today. We have discussed transfer of heat. We defined transfer of heat. Then we discussed different methods of transfer of heat or different modes of transfer of heat. They are conduction, convection, and radiation. Thank you.